Okay, got a couple of sort of more personal questions. What are you personally
If you
looking forward
just excuse me for 1 minute, do ask away. I'll just return 1 second.
Okay, sure. So as we all know, life after Corona is going to be very, very different. So we do just want to know, what do you think that life will be like post COVID-19? And obviously now, like in Ukraine, for example, the lockdown has ended.
So what was the question?
My question was, what do you think life will be like post COVID-19? Because a lot of stuff has eased up, like the restrictions and stuff. But I'm talking a bit more about, like, say, next year, a little bit into the future. Like, what do you think is going to be different?
I think that firstly, obviously, like I said, there's going to be a lot of kind of day-to-day precautions that we take, which will probably remain for a while. And this new way of living, coming, washing your hands, sanitizing, a lot of this is going to stay in place for a while. But at the same time, I think that people are eager to get back to some sort of, normality.
Yeah.
So the answer really is that, life must go on. I would say we still have to remain very sensible and go by the UAE guidelines. And living, as you might all know, me and Zara and Miss Clara actually are from different parts of the world. But I have to say that the UAE does feel like it did take all the relevant precautions and measures at the right time. Cases in the UAE haven't been as high as they've been in other countries. And I think this whole sanitization program that the UAE were doing, lockdown when it happened, and I think people were abiding by. So I think that, there's a lot of professionals who have put together, guidelines which we should follow. So I wouldn't say, if the government advises still to wear masks, say, well, look, actually, no, it's not a fear anymore, we're not going to. So do still follow those measures. But I think that you need to have, return to normality with precautions. So the main thing that I think we're all going to have to do collectively as a community is to take precautions. With children, washing your hands. These are sort of things that we teach in the nursery anyway, before you eat, after you eat, when you enter. So, this 20-second, let's wash your hands, sanitizing. I mean, those are very good things anyway. And now we've become more aware of them. I do think that large gatherings will be avoided for a while. But yeah, I mean, precaution, I think that's, that's going to be something that will remain for a while. The other thing is some people might be reluctant to travel so soon. I think a lot of stuff people might still want to stay within the country that they're in and avoid like unnecessary gatherings, traveling, things like that. But for nursery children, I think, because I had children who were like, oh, can I go and do this? Can I go and do that? Is it, will I get corona? So you need to kind of move away from that. Or they'll say, can I go out? Is it corona time? Do I have to come back? Is it corona time? So we really need to move away from that because, children, their minds are very young, and so you can create kind of fear in them, and sometimes it's unnecessary. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, teach them to sanitize, wash their hands, not share their food, but Ms. Clarence, I would add to that that those are the values we teach at nursery regardless. So we need to give the children, we need to give them back, their friends, their structure. We need to return back to some form of normality, be it in the house, be it in the nursery, wherever you are, we need to come back because, yes, you know, coronavirus, but I think that the government officials, you know, if they are reopening things and the cases here are low, and you know, obviously they're well equipped and they know what they're doing.